Mohammed Abdul Kudus is Communications Manager for the NPA. Let's still stay with the energy sector because the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, is raising serious concerns over government's decision to enter into a sole-sourced agreement with Miscellaneous Company to transport and operate the AMERI Power Plant. According to the energy think tank, the deal is not financially sound and further alleges that it has been bloated by several millions of cedis. Kojo Yaoche is policy lead, petroleum and conventional energy and he joins us with more details. Kojo, thank you for your time. I mean, you've heard the energy say that, and ACEP say this is not a good deal. What have they been, I mean, you are with ACEP, so let us understand, what more have you seen that is bringing you to this conclusion that this deal is not in the interest of Ghana and again is being bloated? Could you kindly unmute so we can follow what you're telling us?
Sorry, thank you for having me. So we came into information about the contract to relocate the AMERI Power Plant from Abuaze to Kumasi. We raised a number of issues with the arrangement. First of all, Government of Ghana is absolving AMERI from the contractual requirements for the handover of the plant. So per the agreement, AMERI is supposed to ensure that the plant is in good working condition before it hands over, and that assessment that it's in good condition has to be done by an independent assessor before they hand over the plant to the country. But we see that just from 2 months to the expiration of the contract, government wrote to AMERI absolving them, waiving them of that responsibility to do that. And we see in the report from the independent assessment that 4 of the 10 units have to be worked on, and we asked ourselves that who is going to bear the cost of that. Government insists that rectification works is going to be done by Miscellaneous, who was a subcontractor of AMERI at the time. Meanwhile, we have no agreement with AMERI, yet we have no agreement with Miscellaneous, which will bind them to do that. So if they fail to do that, we sitting at ACEP, we don't see how the government is going to be able to hold them to account for it. Again, we question the decision to relocate the plant. Government says it wants to stabilize power supply in the middle belt. We have always consistently argued that retooling the transmission infrastructure, particularly the Pokpasi and Umasu 33 kV line, and also the Western Corridor lines, to be able to transmit power effectively to the middle belt is the most optimal and efficient option, especially in the short term, to be able to get power, to stabilize power in the middle belt. So we have been questioning that, and we know that it's not only the AMERI plant that is being moved there. Government is also intending to locate new plants, about 3 of them, in addition to AMERI, to form what they call the Kumasi Power Hub. This is a government that has consistently complained about excess capacity, and yet we want to create new generation in Kumasi to add on to the grid. That is about 1,000 megawatts. Who to pay for that? We again question the contract cost. I mean, the minister stated that this contract, the relocation, was going to cost us $35.6 million, and the operation and maintenance, that again is being sole sourced to Miscellaneous, is also going to cost us $1 million a year for 3 years. That makes it $36 million. Now, it's curious to note that if you look at the proposal that Miscellaneous sent to government, they quoted $25.48 million as the cost that they envisage the relocation to cost. So our point is that even if you say that you won't listen to what ACEP is saying, that retool the transmission infrastructure instead of relocating plants, if you are going to do it, you shouldn't do it at an overpriced cost. We have not even interrogated whether 25 million quoted by Mytilinus is the true cost of the project. But already we see that cost has jumped by 40% to 35.6%.
Okay, that's interesting. But again, we know that when it comes to sole sourcing, we can only sole source when the company is the only company with the right technology to undertake such a transaction. In this case, do we know any other company that could have done the transportation from the Western region to the Ashanti region?
Yeah, important that you raise that point. The justification that the ministry gave for sole sourcing their contracts to Mytilinus is that they have been the subcontractor of AMERI within the period of the plant, so they are better suited for that. It is important to, highlight for viewers to know that long service is not one of the criteria that is given as for exceptional cases for sole sourcing under the PPA Act. The turbines that are supposed to be moved to Kumasi are just more like big generators that are put on trailers.
Okay.
We haul products across the country every time.
Okay.
There are completely local contractors that move trailers of containers all over the country, even to Ouagadougou.
So I'm grateful.
You can't tell me in good conscience that Mytilinus is the only company that is suited to be able to do this.
Thank you very much. Kojo is with the Africa Center for Energy Policy. Kojo, I'm grateful that you find time to join us here on the Joy News today.